Hey, thanks for joining me. So I didn't make a video last weekend. Last weekend, my wife and I celebrated our 47th wedding anniversary. And actually, the wedding anniversary was on the Tuesday before last weekend. But last Saturday was the 50th anniversary of the day we met and went on our first date and, started the relationship. So, and actually there was 2 dates. We met at work and I invited my wife to lunch. We went to lunch together, and then later that evening after work, we went to dinner together, and then we went to a haunted house. We were juniors in high school, 1975, and so it's been 50 years. Interestingly enough, at the 50-year anniversary, the days line up. So we met on a Saturday. The 50th anniversary was on Saturday, and so we really, it was kind of a special weekend. We didn't do anything really crazy, but it was just a day I wanted to devote to her, and so I didn't make a video. Anyway, today I want to talk about a lens. This is the Olympus 17mm f2.8. Now, this is a lens that I think the 2.8, the 17mm was the first lens that Olympus introduced with the EP1 when they did, this was their first model of micro four thirds camera. So it's been around a while. But I wanted, when I got started with micro four thirds, I knew I wanted a 17mm lens. That's the equivalent of a 35mm or 34mm on full frame. And back when I used to shoot rangefinder Leicas, a 35mm f2.8 Summicron was I used it more than my 15mm f2 Summicron. I used that lens a lot, all the time, and it was just really a favorite. So when I got into micro four thirds, I knew I wanted a 17. At that time, I couldn't afford even a used version of the 17mm f1.8. So I started looking at this, and I love the compact size. It's so compact, and I was buying it to put on this EP1 body that I had purchased. I found this body for $50, and that's another great buy. And while, some of the reviews I read about this lens were not that complimentary, some of them said that it just wasn't nearly as good as the 17mm f1.8. Some actually called it a soft lens. When you look at the resolution test charts on this lens, it actually showed the center resolution was excellent. The edge resolution was not as good as the f1.8, but it wasn't terrible. And this is one of those times, I think, when lens tests or reviews and actual performance collide, because this lens has performed excellent for me. I have just really had good results with it. In fact, I have created some of my favorite images using this lens and this camera body. And this thing's only 12 megapixels, but back when I work from home now, but used to work at an office, and so this went in my backpack with my laptop and everything that I took to work every day, and it traveled with me anywhere I went. I did a lot of work travel back then, and when I was in the office, there was a park not too far from our office that has a 1.3-mile wooded trail, and I would go and walk that for lunch and take pictures, and just around the town I worked in, I just took all kinds of pictures with this lens and this camera, and this lens has become a real favorite. And so, when I read that it's not that great a lens, I'm like, that's not what my results show. This lens creates nice, sharp images. It performs beautifully. So I know this is just one of those things where lens tests and the actual lens usage or the performance of the lens just don't quite always line up. And I think sometimes some of these lens reviews are a bit hypercritical. And anyway, so this lens is a very affordable lens these days. You'll see these for about $120 on eBay. They're not expensive at all. And they're available in silver and black. This lens has been completely reliable. I've had zero issues with it whatsoever. It's got a metal lens mount. The body is plastic, but it feels real solid. The focus ring on this thing, if you want a manual focus, is just buttery smooth. This is the smoothest I've ever felt on a like an Olympus or a Panasonic, autofocus lens. It does not have a footage scale, but if you want to focus manually, you can do that. This lens is a little bit prone to flare, so getting a lens hood's a good idea. The original Olympus lens hood for this is probably pretty pricey if you can find one, but I found this on Amazon. It's 37mm filter thread. It works great. Looks like one of the vented Leica hoods, you know, for rangefinder camera. And of course, you don't need the vents for this thing because it doesn't have a viewfinder. But it looks nice and it performs really well. Helps cut down on lens flare from, you know, light coming in at an angle into the lens. And I like carrying a lens hood on a camera. If I'm just carrying it around, you know, I leave the cap off, and that way if I bump into something, the lens is protected. And so the lens hood, I think, is always a good idea. But, and this lens hood, I'll put a link in the description down below for it. This 37mm filter thread, these lens hoods are like $7 on Amazon, made by a company called Photocy, and they have them in other diameters too. So if you're needing an inexpensive lens hoods, these are really nice. Now, they don't clip on, or, well, you have to screw it on, but, you know, I think it's well worth it. So, anyway, oh, and I've started carrying, if you've watched my videos, you know I almost always use a neck strap, but I kind of got the idea that this camera would be nice with a wrist strap, and I found this the other day on Amazon. It's made of paracord, and comes with a triangle ring or a round ring if you want to put that on the camera body. And this, as you put it on your wrist, then it'll automatically kind of cinch up. So, you know, it feels really sturdy. I don't think I have any worry about it dropping or falling, but if I drop the camera, then it's not going to hit the ground. I've typically always used neck straps. I'm kind of giving this a try. I know a lot of people like to use wrist straps. They don't like something around their neck. And I'll put a link in the description down below for this thing too. If you're wanting a wrist strap, these are like $15. They're really cheap, and they seem really well made. So anyway, that's the 17mm f2.8. I think it's a really excellent lens. You know, like I say, the lens test that you'll read, if you read reviews about it, even watch some videos about it, you're going to hear some negative things. But my experience has been completely the opposite of that. This lens has performed beautifully, has been reliable, creates beautiful images. I couldn't ask for anything more. So if you're looking for a compact 17mm lens, you know, if you're getting into the pen cameras, maybe you've had one of the, like the EM5 or an EM10 or EM1 or whatever, one of the viewfinder cameras. They're bigger, but if you thought about getting one of the EPL or EP series cameras that are the pen cameras that are more compact for travel and that sort of thing, the EP5, if you watch my videos, you know the EP5 is probably my favorite camera in the whole world. But if you're looking for a compact 17mm for a camera like that, I couldn't speak more highly of a lens than this one. It's really been my favorite. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you have any thoughts or questions, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I always love hearing from you. And as always, hey, thanks for watching.